Hey guys, Rob the Spiritual Nomad here, about to wrap up for the evening, doing some house sitting for a friend up in the Bay Area. So it's been kind of nice getting a break from the cramped lifestyle in the van here. And I wanted to talk for just a minute on the power of intuition when it comes to the kind of questions we ask ourselves. I think a lot of times I can debate inside of my mind about whether or not I should do something. And I'm finding that if I'm having to wrestle a lot with whether or not I should do something, then the default is starting to look like no intuitively. Three examples recently. First is a breakup of a relationship a few weeks ago. I've been wrestling for quite some time deeply over whether or not to continue the relationship. And I mean, it was some deep wrestling. And I kind of eventually came to the conclusion that if I'm going to keep wrestling with whether or not to have this relationship, then this wrestling isn't going to stop. So I should say no to the relationship. And I did. And I'm glad I did. That was the right decision for me, even though it was pretty painful for both of us. Another episode comes from just van life, which I've said before that the van life is one big, huge life laboratory for me, one big life experiment for me. And that has to do with parking at night. I've been laying in bed before, almost off to sleep, and then something wakes me up in the middle of the night. Not necessarily anything going on outside. Maybe it is a sound or something, but something internally wakes me up and I start wrestling whether or not I should stay in that parking spot. And I've tested that before, and all the times I said, yeah, I'm just going to stay here, I wish I'd have said no. And the times that I did say no, I was glad I did. So wrestling, even there, intuition is telling me to say no when it's too much wrestling going on. And then even tonight, as I'm about to go in for the evening, I was thinking, man, I'd love to go up to the 7-Eleven and get something to drink, get me a beer or something. And then immediately a wrestling match started inside. Hey, dude, you had a margarita for dinner and you had a beer the other night. What if you just didn't have anything tonight? And I started wrestling inside, about, well, why not? Why shouldn't I, be able to get something and blah, blah, blah. And so then I remembered back to the parking spot and back to the breakup. And I remember intuition is never going to be wrong in telling me to say no when something is a really big wrestling match inside. Hope that's helpful for some that are out there, wherever they are in life right now.